right. Happy Halloween, mi gente. Today is definitely going to be a trip. Ba-dum-bum. So, our first stop is securing the bag. Are you a small business owner or are interested in opening up your own business, an entrepreneur, or like I said, starting your own business? Well, at the Secure the Bag, Business Resource Fair, you'll be able to receive valuable information from city, state, and federal agencies that cater to small businesses and network with other small business owners. And joining us to share more is host of Secure the Bag Business Resource Fair, the Honorable Chantel Jackson, Assembly Member for the 79th District in the Bronx. Yay! And she came festive. We are celebrating Halloween
Yes,
this year
we
in the
are.
Bronx.
Yes, we are. I'm very excited.
We are excited too. However, while we are coming into the Halloween weekend, we have some wonderful festivities that are going to be happening afterwards that are obviously going to enhance our community, right? So let's just talk a little bit about how this is your second year in this role.
Second term.
Second term, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And serving the District 79, right?
Yes.
And coming from a background of social work and being a college professor, and most importantly, a mom. How does that inform your decisions for your district?
Well, I represent a lot of moms. I represent a number of social workers and educators. And it gives me insight that my other colleagues may not have because they may, most legislatures come from the law field, the business field. And here you are, mom, social worker, educator, coming to the table to have conversations that moms need.
And, can we just elaborate a little further what that means, right?
Sure.
Because there is a balance that I feel is a little more needed right now within our society, within a lot of the decisions being made just by our representatives.
Yeah.
And so when you're a woman, I think the decisions are made differently based on understanding the repercussions of what the next generation how they're going to be impacted.
Absolutely. Think about all the discussions we've had for Roe versus Wade and the impact that women's voices finally get to have in these spaces. Or when we're talking about family and food stamps, right? Or Medicaid, things that women have to deal with on a daily basis when they're raising their family. If you've never had to endure those things, then you don't have the insight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that
It's
makes
the
a big
insight.
difference. It is
All
the
the
insight.
all the difference.
It absolutely. And, there's an African proverb that says, you teach a man how to fish and
Eat
you
for
feed.
one day.
Yeah. You teach a woman how to fish and she feeds a
the fish.
nation.
Come on now.
Yes. I told you
Yeah.
I'm the time traveling tour.
Yes, you
guide.
are. Yes, you are.
Hitting those African roots. And so let's talk about the Secure the Bag. Oh, no, before we do that, let's talk about what you think are the key ingredients required to elevate a community.
Ooh, which is something my community absolutely needs. So for me, it's all about health and wellness, meaning what you eat, how you interact with others, your mental and physical health. Also, wealth. Wealth is extremely important. I come from one of the poorest congressional districts, so it's important for people to have gainful employment, but also be able to create their own lines and streams of employment. So those things are absolutely necessary. Health and wellness, and wealth is
Health,
creates.
wellness, and
wealth. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to having that conversation with you. But let's introduce everybody to Secure the Bag Business Resource Fair, because it's an event that's going to be dedicating a lot to supporting and nurturing small businesses, new and established, right?
Yes.
And so, can you share an overview of what that day is going to look like?
Sure. So people are going to come in. We're going to be at YMCA La Central here in the Bronx, and people are going to come in. We're going to have a resource fair space. So you go in, you talk to people from all lines of government, city, state, federal, about maybe grants, how to start an LLC, the basics of beginning a business venture, loans, right? So you have that space, and then you have panel discussions. One on e-commerce, how to get started in e-commerce, what different streams of income you can create, And also product placement. Think about if you already have a product and you want it in a big box store. We're going to have a panel on that as well.
So, because you said LLC and grants, and you did mention 501c3, however, that's how most people obtain grants, right? Depending on what kind of business you're opening. I'm going to speak from the perspective of being an artist or an artisan, right? Because when you use that kind of language, I'm not saying you in particular, but just in general, it can be a little intimidating, And so if I'm an artisan and I'm just learning how to really brand my stuff and package it, and I walk into this resource fair, who would you say I should go see first?
Ooh, so my daughter's an artist, so I love an artist. I think when we're talking about branding and packaging, we have the SBS, the Small Business Solutions, right, where they can help guide you through how to get started. So I would say start with SBS, and we have them here locally in the Bronx, all throughout our city. So start there so they can walk you through how to get started. Where do I even begin?
Right, and so there's that guidance, right? And then what about funding, right? So let's just say I have a few $1,000s put aside to invest in maybe, I guess, reinvesting in products and or inventory, and I don't have an accountant and I don't have a bookkeeper. How do I move from there?
Right, so we also going to have MCU there and TD Bank, and you can talk with the banker there to help you get started in those different lines. What makes the most sense for the type of business you want to start?
And so I understand that you're also going to have panelists, right? So what are these panelists going to be discussing? Do you have different sections for these panelists, or is it just one big discussion?
Right, so there'll be 2 different panels. The first one will be on e-commerce, and those will be people like myself who started e-commerce businesses, how they got started and where they are in the process. Also people who have been very successful in that. And then the second panel will be about branding, how to get not branding, but get your product in a big box store, like maybe Walmart or Target, things of that nature.
So when you say e-commerce, are we referring to digital sales? Are we referring to AI? Like, just because we're living in this day and age where there's a lot to keep up on.
There is a lot to keep up on, and we are talking about digital sales. We're talking about, like myself, I helped my daughter create a product that she's never touched, and she was able to sell it online, not having to package it or anything like that through Amazon. So things like that we're going to be discussing.
I think that would serve an artisan very well.
I think so too.
Yeah. So before we end this segment, we must talk about generational wealth, because I think our people of color, right? Love me, mi gente, okay?
Claro.
But we have to learn how to invest in ourselves from a place of having it grow and being able to pass it on.
I agree.
So what kind of education is being offered in the general wealth sector?
So I'm actually going to have in my office a conversation around life insurance, home insurance, things of that nature. And generational wealth is constantly being created by life insurance. Our older, family members passing on and leaving that money for us, also leaving a home for us. So those conversations are things that we're having, maybe not at this resource fair, but just in general.
Right. So you're going to do like an introduction to how you can invest. There's so much to learn.
So much.
I'm still learning,
Yeah.
right? I'm also a small business owner. And to be able to understand what you can expense and what it actually serves the business and how you can take that money and then reinvest it, and the importance of borrowing. That's the other part. Can we
Smart borrowing.
Right, smart borrowing.
Yeah.
Can we give a little taste of that? Because, people are intimidated to just even borrow because they don't want to owe.
Right. And the wealthiest people in the world all have some kind of debt, good debt, not debt that, of just buying things that will diminish, right? But depreciate in value, but things that will help grow you. So like if I were to take out a loan today, I would buy more product, and that product will create more money so that I can pay back the loan, but also create a profit for myself. That's the kind of good debt we're going to be talking about.
And it's important to understand it. It's its own language.
Yes.
It's its own language. So how many hours are we talking throughout the day?
So 11 to 1, But we're also going to be filming stuff. We're going to be filming beforehand, just different segments, so that people can get this information on my YouTube channel. Even if you can't attend, we want to make sure that you get something that you can go home with.
That's wonderful. And this is just the beginning stages,
Just
right?
the beginning.
I love it. And so, just out of curiosity, why did you choose Minnie today?
Oh, well, I found these in my daughter's room, and she loved Minnie growing up, and I said, well, I'll honor her. Remember Minnie does that?
Yes.
With the bows?
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
We love that. Women empowerment.
Yes. This is fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much for bringing it here, everyone. Assembly Member Chantel Jackson. Once again, we were discussing the Secure the Bag Business Resource Fair, and that is set to take place on Saturday, November 4th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at La Central YMCA, located at 434 Westchester Avenue in the Bronx. It's free, and make sure you scan the QR code to RSVP, and stay tuned because there's more open when we return.